Of course. My corner, going into the championship rounds, they just kept yelling at me, "You got to close the show. You got to win the championship rounds, because they're not gonna give it to you. You got to win the championship rounds." Because it was one round where I dominated in the scorecards. They gave it to Canelo, and that just changed the whole mentality of the fight. They was just like, all right, you got to go out there and win these rounds. You got to go out there and win these rounds.
That night wasn't only about Crawford defeating Canelo, it was about surviving the scorecards, too. Crawford himself admitted that even while he controlled the fight, the judges nearly painted a different story. His coach, Bernie, felt it right away. From the opening round, something felt off. He said, "In the very first round, everyone got nervous because it looked like they were already trying to rob us. Those 115 to 113 scorecards showed it." His words carried the weight of a corner that knew the real battle wasn't just in the ring, but on the cards. Suddenly, every punch meant more than damage, it meant protecting history from being stolen. Each round became a test of heart, not just for Crawford, but for the whole corner. The fear of robbery was as real as the fight itself. And Bernie didn't stop there. He revealed just how close they felt the fight could slip away.
But listen, so we was worried they'd just give it to Canelo just for nothing. Just give it to him. So we had to. Bud came straight out. Did you see how he went out there and went straight to him? Set the tone?
Right away.
Oh, God.
He never chased him. He never chased him around the ring.
No, Crawford never ran.
No, Canelo never chased him.
Those comments exposed the raw truth. Crawford's team wasn't just fighting Canelo, they were fighting the system. They knew one shady scorecard could wipe away everything Bud worked for. But instead of breaking him, that fear ignited something deeper. It pushed Crawford to take full command and leave no doubt. Every moment was proof that he wasn't about to let judges control his destiny. And in that pressure, he made the kind of statement champions are remembered for. Even veteran trainer Robert Garcia chimed in, pointing out Canelo's flaws throughout the fight. His analysis hinted at a bigger truth: without the judges, Canelo didn't have enough to win.
He's fought the same way the last 4 or 5 fights, enough just to get the win, or maybe the judges to give him the win. Throws one punch at a time, one punch at a time. Looks for just that one part. He opens up. That hook he was throwing over and over, reaching in with that hook, keeping his chin up, his right hand down. There's a lot of things that you can't do over and over if you have a good game plan, if you have somebody giving you the right instructions. You can't do it over and over for 4 fights. There's got to be correction.
Garcia's breakdown was clear. Canelo wasn't leading the dance. He leaned on old habits and seemed to hope the scorecards would cover his gaps. It was as if the system was tilted in his favor, protecting him round after round. But Crawford's sharp adjustments ripped through that safety net and left no room for excuses. He showed that the truth can't be stolen. Garcia also admitted that what set Crawford apart was his focus and hunger. The doubt surrounding him didn't weigh him down, it fueled him to work harder and rise above every expectation.
I think so. He's very talented. He's a very disciplined fighter also. He's healthy. And, a lot of people were saying, oh, well, he hasn't fought, or he didn't look too good against Madrimov at 154. How can he look good? He's a talented fighter, and that challenge for him pushed him even harder to train harder and to be better. That challenge, went up against Canelo, moving up 2 divisions, hearing that people are saying, oh, he didn't look too good against Madrimov, so how could he look good at 68? Well, that motivated more, man. He trained hard. He did what he had to do.
That insight revealed the fire behind Crawford's performance. He wasn't just facing Canelo, he was proving every critic wrong. The jump in weight, which many thought would break him, became his sharpest weapon. What people called a weakness turned into his strength. On fight night, that pressure transformed him into something unstoppable. Garcia then shifted his focus to Canelo's preparation, suggesting that cracks in his camp may have left the door open for Bud to take over.
They've made a lot of money together, and that's what they're all about, the business. I don't I don't know if I don't think they took the fight lightly because they couldn't have, but because Canelo, from what I hear, is very disciplined, trains very hard. But I think when it came to the game plan or the instructions, could have been a little bit better.
That angle added another layer to the story. Canelo might have been disciplined, but discipline without the right strategy isn't enough. The fight showed how much was tied up in politics, money, and reputation, forces outside the ring. But even with all that power behind Canelo, Crawford ripped the script apart. Teddy Atlas later weighed in, and he didn't sugarcoat a thing. From the moment the fight was signed, Atlas already knew how dangerous this matchup could be.
Well, you know, I've been on the wrong side, but it's nice to be on the right side. But I felt like I was on the right side. I felt the way Crawford felt. What people ask me, Teddy, when did you know? When were you were so sure he was going to win this fight? You were saying it, you know, a year ago or more. When did you know that he was going to win this fight, that there was no one else? You said nobody can win this fight, only one guy. And he's going to win it convincingly, easily. When did you know that? And I'm gonna say what I really mean, but also what I understand Crawford said. But I said it myself before. I knew when he signed the contract. when he signed the contract, I knew that Canelo was making a mistake. That he had no idea, like he didn't have an idea what Beaver was. He had no idea. And unfortunately, the judges did the same thing they did in the Beaver fight. They scared the crap out of us. They made us realize they were going to rob him if he didn't destroy him, if he didn't dominate. Dominate! I mean, are you kidding me? He dominated.
His words carried the certainty of a veteran's eye. Atlas wasn't just predicting Crawford's win, he was warning that judges could twist the outcome into another nightmare. Like we've seen in past fights, the shadow of robbery was always there. That's why Crawford had no choice but to dominate. For Atlas, it was simple, either Bud left no doubt, or history risked being rewritten. And in the end, Crawford's performance validated Atlas's warning. His control over the fight left Canelo with almost nothing to claim.
I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to give Canelo 2 rounds. 2 rounds! And I'm being nice. I'm not being a wise guy. I'm being honest. I'm being a professional. He won maybe. And if you want to make it a shutout, I wouldn't say you were crazy. Because I don't think I'm crazy. Just a little bit angry sometimes. Because of my sport that I love. That if he doesn't dominate the way he did, they're going to give it to Canelo. The way that one judge tried to make it a close fight against Mayweather many years ago? Are you kidding? The way the Beaver people... In the Beaver fight, I thought Beaver won 10 rounds. They tried to do the same thing. 115, 113? Are you kidding me? Maybe they just don't understand math. Maybe they think that I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they think 115 is 119. Maybe, you know, it's different kinds of, you know, numeral. The way they came up with the numerals, with the math. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I don't know.
Atlas's frustration wasn't aimed at the fighters, it was at the sport itself. He reminded fans how fragile victories can be when judges manipulate the numbers. To him, Crawford's win wasn't just about beating Canelo. It was about exposing a broken system that has robbed fighters before. That's why Bud had to dominate every second, to protect what was rightfully his. And Atlas believed that's exactly what he did. To him, the only way to beat corruption is with undeniable greatness. Before the fight, Atlas had already told Stephen A. Smith why he believed Crawford was on another level. To him, Bud wasn't just another name, he was something special.
I told Stephen A. Smith, I did a segment with him, a lot of people saw it, the day before. And, you know, I said, I like Crawford like I said, when his contract was signed, when it was, and then he was a bigger favorite. He was a bigger underdog. He was a bigger underdog. He was 2-1 at one point, if I remember
That's
correctly.
Correct. And it closed at closer to plus 135, plus 140.
Yeah. Once people knew who I was picking. I'm kidding. But I was telling Stephen A. Smith, he said, Teddy, why do you like him so much? I said, why do you like 3D TV more than regular TV? Because it's 3D! Because it's got more dimensions to it. Why do you like digital better than Betamax? I still use Betamax. I gotta tell you, I still got a fax machine, Rich. I do. I got a fax machine. I'm old-fashioned. What are you gonna do? But you remember VHS, VHR, whatever it's called, right? All that stuff. Betamax, and then it went to digital. I was the last guy at ESPN, the whole campus, that still got sent VCR tapes. They had to send them to me. I had a cassette player. I put them in. I didn't know how to do digital, but digital, it's the way to go, babe. It's the way of the future. It's faster. It's quicker, right? You got all the stuff in the air, going through the air. That's Crawford.
Atlas described Crawford as unique in today's boxing world. While others seemed predictable, Crawford brought depth, layers, and angles that opponents simply couldn't solve. Atlas made it clear this wasn't hype, it was certainty. He saw in Bud qualities that no judge could deny, no matter how much bias there was. And that faith wasn't blind, it was the perspective of someone who has watched champions rise and fall for decades. In his eyes, Crawford wasn't just a contender, he was the future unfolding in real time. When comparing Canelo and Crawford, Atlas kept it balanced but firm. He gave Canelo his respect, but he made the key difference obvious.
Stephen A., I said, Canelo's a nice, solid guy. He went nuts. Solid! He goes, Teddy, he's Canelo. I said, he's a solid guy. His technique, his basics are solid. His fundamentals are solid. He's strong. He's physical. He's moved up and become, solid at a heavier weight than when he started in his career. He's grown into. He's got great experience. All of that. He's a good, solid guy. I'm not knocking him. In the old days, that was the greatest compliment that the people in my business could give you. Guy's a solid guy. Can fit in with anyone. He knows how to fight. He's a solid guy, but he's not digital. There's only a few guys that are digital.
His words carried the weight of a man who knows greatness when he sees it. Canelo was strong, skilled, and experienced. But his game had a ceiling. Crawford, on the other hand, was playing on a completely different level, digital while others were stuck on analog. That separation made the judges' influence powerless. It was the kind of gap that transforms a great fighter into an untouchable legend. Demetrius Andrade also gave his perspective, admitting his first impression of the fight shifted as it unfolded. What he noticed explained exactly how Crawford took control in a way that shocked so many.
Let's see. I figured that at first I was thinking, it's gonna take, a while for that fight to develop in a later round. And if Terence can take them shots, he'll be able to, pretty much outwork and move and be able to, hit him with some counter shots. And pretty much that's what it was. At first I didn't know if he was be able to take the heavier shots, but then I realized, Canelo, yeah, he's a big guy, but he's not really a big guy when it comes to somebody like a Terence who's has reach, has length, in that aspect, and that could put on the size, and also can box. And he did a great job. When you watched it, he did a great job. He kept with a great strategy, staying outside.
Andrade's reflection mirrored what a lot of fans felt while watching. At first, Canelo's size and strength seemed like the deciding factors. But as the rounds went on, Crawford's reach, timing, and skill flipped the entire script. Andrade highlighted how quickly things changed once Bud showed he could handle the pressure. What started as doubt ended in admiration. In that shift, the story went from potential robbery to undeniable dominance. Andrade also praised Crawford's strategy, the patience, timing, and grit that carried him from the opening bell to the final round.